Okay, I am going to be doing all three case scenarios in one video because I am scared to try to upload three separate videos in one assignment. Um, so first case scenario on ADHD. Hi James, I am a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner student and I would like to provide you with some education on your ADHD today. So first I just wanted to kind of go over what makes ADHD a developmental disorder and how that differs from just the focal issues that you develop as a teen or an adult. So ADHD begins in childhood and it continues to impact functioning throughout the lifespan. Children with ADHD have a reduced brain volume and they exhibit more noticeable symptoms of ADHD that are inappropriate for their developmental age as they're developing. Although brain volume returns to normal as adolescence and adulthood hits, the brain functioning is still impaired in ADHD. So the symptoms become less visibly noticeable, but they are still greatly impacting the daily lives of adults and adolescents who have ADHD. So now I just wanted to kind of help you understand what's going on in the brain of someone with ADHD that is not typical for someone without it. There are alterations that have been found in the prefrontal cortex, the striatum, and the cerebellum that persist throughout adulthood. So the prefrontal cortex and the striatum are important for your working memory and your impulse control. This could explain why you feel forgetful and you have a tendency to become easily frustrated and overstimulated. The cerebellum is important for time management. So an underdeveloped cerebellum can contribute to issues with planning and completing tasks as well as being punctual and on time. And then I know that you were questioning how the medications work to provide you with symptom relief. So stimulants are the preferred choice of medication to use for ADHD, and they work by increasing the dopamine and norepinephrine levels in the brain. When dopamine and norepinephrine are increased in the prefrontal cortex, executive functioning, attention control, and emotional regulation are all improved. So I hope that you feel a little bit more informed on your condition and the medications that we use to treat it. Information for this case study, other than the book, included the New England Journal of Medicine, the Neuroscience and Biobehavioral Reviews Journal, and the textbook. Okay, moving on to the second case study on schizophrenia. Hi Sierra, I am a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner student and I would love to provide you with some education regarding your schizophrenia today. I wanted to start just by helping to explain what's different about the brain of someone with schizophrenia compared to someone who does not have schizophrenia. The most prominent difference that we see is in schizophrenia is enlarged lateral ventricles, which means that there is more empty space in the brain. There are also subtle decreases in total brain volume, gray matter volume, cortical thickness, and white matter volume compared to the brains of those without schizophrenia. Now I just wanted to help you understand the role of dopamine in both the positive and negative symptoms of schizophrenia. So positive symptoms such as hallucinations and delusions are caused by too much dopamine in the mesolimbic pathway. Negative symptoms such as cognitive issues, trouble thinking, low motivation, and anhedonia, just not really caring about things you used to, that is caused by not having enough dopamine in the mesocortical pathway. So there's issues with too much dopamine and not enough dopamine that both impact the symptoms of schizophrenia or cause the symptoms. And then I know that you were kind of trying to figure out how the medications try to change your brain to help the positive symptoms. The antipsychotics that we use to treat schizophrenia, they lower dopamine in the brain. So this helps to decrease the positive symptoms, the hallucinations and delusions, which can really impact your daily life. Unfortunately, the antipsychotics do not do a very good job at treating the negative symptoms, because they're not just decreasing dopamine in the mesocortical pathway, they're decreasing dopamine everywhere in the brain. So they don't really treat the negative symptoms, and they can actually potentially make the negative symptoms worse. And then I know that your mom had some questions regarding what causes schizophrenia. There is really no single cause of schizophrenia that we know of. Genetics do play a significant role, as schizophrenia is one of the most heritable psychiatric conditions. But numerous environmental factors have also been associated with the condition, such as like infections during pregnancy or other complications during pregnancy, things like that. And really, it's just likely a combination of both genetic vulnerability and environmental factors that cause most cases. So I hope that you both feel a little bit more educated on schizophrenia and the medications that we use to treat it. Additional sources used for this case study include the Lancet Journal, the JAMA Psychiatry Journal, and the YouTube video on the dopamine pathways provided in our coursework, in addition to the textbook. Okay, so moving on to the third case study on depression. So, hi, Helen. I am a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner student, and I would love to educate you today a little bit more about your depression that you've been dealing with. So I know that you say you keep getting depressed even though you're taking medications, and you're wondering if something is wrong with your brain chemistry. I just want you to know that there are many factors that can contribute to your ongoing depression, and it is not uncommon to react and feel this way with medication that is used for depression. The brain chemistry is altered in depression. This includes deficits in GABA neurons, dysregulation of glutamate neurons, reduced dopamine, and even inflammation and impaired neuroplasticity. Medications that we use to treat depression attempt to alter the neurotransmitters in your brain to address these alterations in the brain chemistry. And it may just be that the particular medication that you're on is either not altering the neurotransmitters enough, or that we need to be targeting a different neurotransmitter with a new medication. And then I know that you were asking how depression actually changes your brain. So in depression, the brain is out of balance, and this involves many different neurons and regions of the brain and how they're all interacting with each other. So it's a little complex. Some connections are too strong, while other connections are not strong enough. People with depression also have an overactive hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, which is essentially your stress response system. So your HPA axis is also a shortened version for that. It does not know how to shut off when there's no more stress that it's responding to. And that in particular can lead to a decrease in volume of the hippocampus. Other structural changes in the brain include a smaller prefrontal cortex, cingulate gyrus, cerebellum, and cortical thickness. So I also know that you have been going through a lot of different stressors right now, and you're wondering how this may have made your depression worse, and if stress actually affects the brain in depression. So I wanted to help kind of explain that with you. So stressful experiences in depressed individuals can cause DNA to become clogged, leading to a decrease in growth factor proteins, which ultimately causes thinning of the neuronal structures associated with depressive symptoms. So in other words, major life stressors can cause your brain to lose the ability to self-regulate, which may be why your depression is feeling worse right now, considering all of these recent life stressors. And then I know that you were inquiring about a lifestyle change that could maybe help improve your symptoms. So exercise is one lifestyle change that you can make. It is personally my favorite. Exercise is shown to increase neuroplasticity by increasing the BDNF levels in the brain, which reduces systematic inflammation and helps regulate multiple neurotransmitter systems. So I highly encourage you to give exercise a try, even if it is just walking around the block once a day. That would be really good for you. Additional sources for this case study include the New England Journal of Medicine, JAMA Psychiatry, and the Journal of Affective Disorders, in addition to the textbook. Thank you.